Welcome to the deep dive. So you asked us about a bomb incident in 1971. And it's interesting because while the specifics, the date, and the exact event aren't quite right, that description, bomb incident, really captures the feeling, the emotional truth of it, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It wasn't a literal bomb, of course.
Yeah.
But it was an explosion, a sudden, really violent eruption of popular anger.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Koza Uprising, December 1970.
Okay, so let's dive into that. Our mission today, then, is to understand how what seems like a minor traffic accident could just ignite this 8-hour firestorm.
Exactly. And it was a firestorm that, well, it didn't just reveal the deep, deep wounds of the U.S. occupation in Okinawa. It sent this huge political shockwave right to the top. American government, Japanese government.
And right when they were hashing out the final details for Okinawa's return to Japan.
Precisely. The timing was critical.
So let's picture it. Koza, Okinawa, December 20th, 1970. It's before dawn. The streets, it sounds like a war zone.
Pretty much. Overturned cars. But specifically those yellow Y-plate cars, the ones belonging to American personnel.
And they're on fire.
Engulfed in flames, yeah.
Yeah.
And thousands of Okinawans are out there, facing off against U.S. military police. The air is just thick with tension.
Okay, so what lit the fuse? What was the actual catalyst?
It started around 1:00 a.m. An American serviceman, apparently drunk, hit an Okinawan man with his car. A single incident.
But it escalated fast.
Incredibly fast.
Okay.
Okinawan taxi drivers were there first. Then a crowd just gathered, confronting the servicemen. And the chant that really took hold was, "No more acquittals."
So it wasn't just about this accident.
No, not at all. It was about a pattern. A perceived impunity for U.S. personnel. They were thinking specifically about the Idaman incident just a few months before, September 1970, where a U.S. soldier was acquitted after killing someone with his car. Vehicular homicide.
Gotcha. So there was this simmering resentment about a two-tiered justice system, basically. What pushed it over the edge that night?
The turning point seems to be when the U.S. military police arrived. Reports say they seemed to ignore the injured Okinawan. Their focus was on getting the Americans out.
Wow.
The crowd was furious. They actually made the injured man reenact the accident right there, demanding a kind of people's trial. Then, a second American car, trying to navigate the scene, accidentally hit an Okinawan vehicle. And that was it, the final spark.
And then it just blew up. An MP fired a warning shot.
Yeah, and that drew even more people. Suddenly you have maybe 5,000 people in the street.
5,000. And the destruction of the cars, it was deliberate.
Very deliberate. Over 80 Y-plate cars were systematically overturned, burned. But here's the thing. Rioters were reportedly quite careful to move these burning cars away from Okinawan homes, Okinawan businesses.
So targeted, not just random smashing.
Yes, targeted. They even breached Kadena Air Base, went for the Military Employment Building, the Office of Stars and Stripes newspaper, symbols of the occupation.
And amidst all this, burning cars, confrontation, people were dancing. Traditional dances?
Yeah, it's a striking image, isn't it? Some participants started performing traditional Okinawan folk dances. It speaks volumes, maybe about reclaiming space or expressing identity, even in that chaos.
There's another really interesting layer here, too. Apparently, the rioters consciously avoided harming African-American soldiers or their property.
That's right. Some scholars see this as evidence of a kind of third world consciousness. It suggests the anger wasn't just anti-American across the board, but specifically against the system of colonial military rule represented by the white establishment at the time.
Which points to the deeper roots of all this anger.
Absolutely. You have to remember Okinawa's situation, the keystone of the Pacific, holding something like 75% of all U.S. military facilities in Japan.
On less than 1% of Japan's land? That's staggering.
It is. And you had U.S. Kirkar, the U.S. Civil Administration, wielding huge power, plus the Status of Forces Agreement, SOFA. That granted U.S. personnel extraterritoriality. They weren't really subject to local law.
Fueling this constant sense of injustice, you can see how it built up.
Exactly. So the Koza Uprising, it just shattered this idea that Okinawans would, quietly accept whatever deal Tokyo and Washington made for them.
It must have massively impacted those reversion negotiations happening at the time.
Oh, absolutely. It raised the political stakes enormously. Now, the 1971 did go through, returning administrative rights to Japan in 72. But crucially, most U.S. bases stayed. The Koza incident likely forced both governments into a kind of strategic public silence to manage the crisis while talks continued.
So looking back, the Koza Uprising, sometimes misremembered, feels absolutely pivotal. The reversion in 72, it sounds like it was more symbolic than substantive for many Okinawans.
You could say nominal reversion. Because the core issues, that massive U.S. military footprint, the inequalities baked into SOFA, they didn't go away. They remained.
And that fire from Koza, it hasn't really gone out, has it?
In many ways, no. The same fundamental problems persist today. Base-related crime, accidents, environmental damage. It's all part of what's still called the Okinawa problem. The demands for a real reduction in the U.S. presence, for genuine judicial fairness, they're just as loud now.
It's incredible how long the echoes of that night persist, which leaves us with something to think about, maybe. How do these powerful moments of popular resistance like Koza keep shaping geopolitics, keep influencing things even decades down the line?